Mayor, interim city administrator, and our new city admin are all on this as well, and Zoom. Even after them coming.
Yeah, I just got on from this.
Way to sound heavy.
I did nothing, I'll say it. It is, yeah, it actually felt pretty good. When you told me that you were in the hospital with your son, I did not. Because it told me that she's allergic to citrus fruits. So. Okay, me. I have this plugged in at the office. And she's very adamant about like, no, it's only cannibal. And I'm like, I'm not giving you pineapple or mango because I'm not here. Here, Justin, it's good. You want to share? This is good. It's time to run across the street, right? This is 5:27.
If you were thinking, like spring.
You got a time read?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
It's not that much, right?
No, it's very short. And I thought that should have taken a minute. I hope I remember.
Yeah, I printed it. Or I charged it up before I left. You have pineapple.
And she has been done.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Get on.
But she didn't like hers, I think it was only ice and banana, so I can flavor.
I don't blame her. I do this.
But no one was back on my watch.
What's that?
I also told Lloyd, you have to have this many steps back. Nobody's touching it, her dollars in any hands.
Sometimes I think she's kind of like her mom. It's right until she's allergic to it, especially the crap out of salsa.
On the edge.
Yeah.
Well, her spouse is hard now, it's like I didn't really sell anybody getting crash on me.
It's John Beer. I think
A lot of it, like,
what were they doing with the Reds? I've been saying. Okay.
We're on Zoom right now.
H.
Yeah, John.
Yeah, okay, you got 1:30.
Joe.
The July 25th recess council meeting will now come to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is water and sewer termination request
I have one request.
and the June minutes.
Make a motion, we approve the water sewer termination request in the June 2020 minutes, agenda item AIR 20-22-014.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the consent agenda consisting of the water sewer termination request and the June 2022 minutes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries. Any, now have petitions, delegations, members of the public are welcome to use this time to comment about any matter relating to city business not listed on this agenda. The comments that are discussed under petitions and delegations may or may not be acted upon by the council during this meeting. There is a 5-minute time limit. Please stand and wait to be recognized by the mayor, or in this case, president of the council. You must state your name and whether you reside in the city limits. Anyone in the public who would like to speak?
You guys are so disappointed I wasn't here last week. I'm Karen Schreiner, and yes, I live in the city, and so I have loaded. I want to thank the city crew for streets for filling in the pothole at the end of Yellowneck with asphalt. And now I live in the slum area that you guys think is wonderful out there. We have dogs running loose. We have people bringing in cars that are not operable, parking them and just leaving them. Some of them's been there for over 2 months. And then the next thing, with the wonderful soccer field we're putting in, what is that doing to the path that's going, supposed to be going from the Good Sam into town? That's all I have. Thank you.
I'm gonna address the soccer field and the path, but the path is actually gonna be closer to the highway than the soccer field is, so it shouldn't have
We're
it.
going to be in the ditch or
It's gonna be right at the top of the back slope of the ditch.
you need,
It'll be right at the top of the ditch slope is where the path will run.
I guess I'm going to ask, where's every people gonna park? Because I don't know parking on that path.
Yep. Yeah, they'll have to park off of that for sure. And then any other, yes.
I'm Taryn Urban. I do not reside in city limits, but I do own Munchkins Bakery right across the street. I've come to request that on Saturday, August 6th, we are doing a live entertainment evening with foods, treats, and music. And I was hoping to be able to block half of the city block between Douglas Street and this alleyway. On West First Street from 4 to 9 p.m. The business will be open from 5 to 9 o'clock, but the intention of this event is to set up our instruments and things outdoors right in front of Ben Jansen's buildings. And I have received 4 signatures of approval from Ben Jansen, a couple from the law office. And I got a verbal approval from Mr. Johnson and Mr. Hoffman as well. But the intention is to be able to set up our music outside, play and sing outside, and we will also have tables and chairs set up to where guests can sit outside and dine in addition to indoors. And we'll have technology set up to where whatever's playing outside, they can hear inside if guests choose to be indoors that evening. And I would prefer to have some barricades just so that there isn't anybody that tries to pass down the street if that were to be approved. But again, the music part would take place between 6:30 and 8. But I still want to allow time to set up and tear down which is why I'm requesting until 9 p.m.
And what was the date on that again?
Saturday, August 6th.
We won't have a meeting between now and then.
Jeremy, you're just asking for us to block off the street that's just in front of your building, right?
Just in front, from Douglas to the alley streets, so not quite blocking the alley, but those barricades just right along the edge of that sidewalk where the bakery building ends.
On the people that you, I was just trying to remember, did you mention Williams?
So they were out of town, when I sent the message to them, and I haven't had a chance to follow up. I do know that he is getting their balcony installed. It was supposed to occur last Thursday. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I can certainly ask them when they anticipate their balcony being installed and if that affects that particular date for our event. I don't know if I ask them and report back, or if you guys ask, I don't know how that works, but I can certainly talk to the Williams.
We worked out. It being a Saturday. But getting barricades set up.
Let's say, I don't know if you want to take this, chief, we've done a few for some different events and to some firework areas.
So generally what we do is, I usually myself get with Delvin and just ask barricades, however many we've been requested, ask them to place them at certain locations, and then we generally ask the people who've requested them to set up the barricades, if at all possible, and then take them down, put them back on the street corner that we picked up on Monday. Or officer on duty can also facilitate as well, we've done that. I do have a question, no alcohol, none of that stuff.
Yes, good question. So it is a family friendly event, meaning there will not be alcohol. We do not have a liquor license, so the music is going to be praise and worship music. Is my husband and I and some friends that we play with at church. So it is going to be a family friendly event, not saying that in respect, you can't have alcohol and have a family friendly, that's not what I'm saying. So anyways, yes, great question, no alcohol. We, by drinks and treats, I mean our bakery services will be available through the evening as what we do during the weekday. Great question.
I think we can make sure that we need to allow that.
I'll make a motion to approve the street closure between Douglas and the alley to the west, pending approval from Dr.
Okay.
Williams, since they're residents, to go into their ritual.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we allow the street closure on Saturday, the 6th, from 4 to 9 p.m. on First Street between Douglas and the first alley to the west. Is there any further discussion?
Would you like for me to talk to the Williams and report back to Brittany? Would that suffice? Okay, okay.
Not hearing any, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And I'll facilitate the barricades, just bring it with me, and then I'll facilitate the barricade. Right.
Okay.
Very good, thank you. Any other items? I have on my list, Peyton's Place special event.
If Cassidy and I'm gonna go first, if we want to get out of here. One of them,
Well, if you want to, yeah, that's fine.
Well, I think
I'm here no matter what, so you can.
Yeah, well, you guys are, it's the only time you guys are excited to see us every year, but, you know, as we have your insurance with Alliance Insurance, and, as being with Employers Mutual, you're part of the safety dividend program. They have 430 plus county or cities in the, state insured, and what they do is they throw all that money into a pool, and at the end of the year, if there's money left over, they get a divvy it back out. And this year, they're giving back as a total of about little over $3.9 million, which is 17.51%, which is pretty good. I've been dealing with cities for about 12 years now, and I've been able to give checks every year. I think they go clear back to 2006. I don't have all your numbers on what you have on that, but this year, your portion of it is $18,604.79. Nice part about this is from last year's premium. It's not anything you budgeted for. We're happy we're able to do this. You know, you guys can't help storms. I mean, we can't do anything about these wonderful windy days that we get around here and all that. But you guys do a great job of the avoidable claims, the liability stuff here, where, you know, and that as a whole, it is a group. But if everybody didn't do a good job in it, then, you know, everybody pays the price. But you know, you guys, as far as those, you know, we take the wind and hail out of that. You guys are really good. So, you know, tell your department heads they're doing a great job and keep up the work. And, you know, we appreciate your business. I'm glad we're able to be able to give it to you. And I guess the question is, who wants it? Brittany does. So Brittany's main part. So, any questions?
So.
All right. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now, Mr. Johnston.
Yep, so mine would be for the resolution on the city ordinance in order to have the street dance. Held on the weekend, same hours as years past, would ask that part of the block be barricaded immediately following the parade. Just makes it easy for us to not have to track down drivers of vehicles, etc. 1 o'clock street dance is over, tear down, it's getting quicker every year, it seems like. Learning from past mistakes, so. Alcohol will be sold, I have an extension for my license for that. Insurance. Typically, I would come with the paperwork in hand, but I spent the entire afternoon in the hospital with my son, so I not prepared on that, I'll get that to you, so.
What is that date again?
19th, 20th, is that Saturday?
It's just Saturday or the Friday and Saturday.
Just, well, I think Cowtown is majority of the week actually, but the street dance is just Saturday. So.
You said barricaded like right after the parade.
The street, yes.
What we normally do, we found that works the best for us.
Oh, yeah, the first-
And I think there's, if I recall reading through the agenda, there's something going on in that same block. Well, it's like I think they're wanting to do the kids something or the barbecue.
I think the barbecue is actually in front of senior center. So
They are doing- They are doing, because we've seen it was like, well, I guess it's good then you walk it off right after the parade, because there was a kid thing going on in front of Alliance or something, so. I don't see it being an issue, because you guys don't come in until later in the day,
Right.
so. See an issue with that, but yeah, that's our plan is because it's so much easier for us to. And then still providing the same, you're gonna have panels.
It's the plan, and I hire my own security.
Right.
Guys, so, yeah.
Need a motion? Mr. President, I make a motion to allow Hayden's Place special event approval to barricade that block right after the parade on August 20th.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved to second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Stay.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving to unfinished business, Kirk Michael projects updates. Wow.
Should be a fairly brief update, I think, tonight. Here, the detention basin project, since we've engaged Water Resource Solutions. I sent the under drain pipe plan to them to review, and they suggested a few tweaks to that plan, mainly to install it a little deeper in the ground, get closer to that rock ledge that was discovered under the soil. And that's presumably where the water is flowing, it's along that face of that rock. So I'll get with the city staff this week on making sure they're still comfortable with that depth. Before we move forward, or if we need to seek a contractor to install that pipe, we're talking, I think it's 5 feet is the maximum depth, not like terribly deep, but it's deeper. And we'll get working on installing that underground pipe 10. Going to the K-156, K-140 turn lane project, I just noted that the bid from APAC on KDOT website has been approved formally. It is based on work we're doing with APAC on other projects, and basically every contractor on every project. I don't anticipate anything will happen until next year. I believe the late start date was April 23, when they bid the project. So stay tuned on when the actual start date is. I did ask KDOT if they had heard anything about the turn lanes south of town at the 156-14 junction. They said that that's a different contractor. They had not heard anything about when that might start. Could be next year on both projects. The neighborhood multi-use path going south to Good Sam, again, just working on finalizing plans. Our goal is to get them in this week or the end of the month. But we are, I think, working on finalizing 2 or 3 other projects this week as well. So it may push off in the first week of August to get those turned in for the path. Seems like in our world, a lot of things stack up at the same time to get done. The big one, the most extensive discussion item, the cost share sidewalk project, where we had 8 different locations of improvements noted. Recall, we had bid the project once, got only a single bid, which was above and beyond the city's budget for the project, so that bid was rejected. Last week, made contact with several different contractors that were potential bidders, and they all pretty much reiterated what I just said, is that they're full for the year. So we would give them until next year to start and complete the project. They would be more apt to bid at this time around. So what I was suggesting is that we start advertising this project in September. Open bids October 10th. We'll receive bids that afternoon. I believe that is a council meeting date. So we can present the bids then at that meeting. And if we get a good bid, it would be awarded, and then we could give the contractor till August 4th to complete August 4th of 2023 to complete the work. It's basically give them a final completion date. Give them the flexibility to come in and work on the projects when they have time. They come in and work on one of the 8 locations, get it done, and then come maybe go to a job somewhere else, go back. But the goal is to get it all done before the next school year. That general plan seemed favorable to most contractors I talked to. They're all pretty small locations, so they could come in and knock them out, most of them out in a week or 2. Like I said, then maybe go somewhere else if they need to do work, or stay and work on it. That works for them as well. So that seemed reasonable for the city. That's we'll get the specifications revised to reflect that plan. It will come back to the next meeting with a request for bids from the city to sign off on official dates in there.
Yeah, I think that's what we're doing in Saline County is the same exact thing. And the only thing I would ask is that there be something in the specs that they can't open an area and leave.
Right, they need to finish. They start one area, finish. They go on. Yeah, we can do that.
Gentlemen, right there, everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put together that request for bids, and then we bring it back to the next meeting. It would have to get signed. But we ask the council to concur and have the folks sign it as we have in the past. And like I said, we can start advertising for bid in September then at that point. The KDOT C-Clip project to resurface Douglas Avenue through town. We have started putting together that plan package. Which if the turn lane projects don't construction and don't get paid until next year, would play out in our favor on the Douglas Avenue project as well. We would have asphalt contractors right here in town, possibly 2 of them. So we'll work on getting those plans put together with the goal to get that project bid this winter sometime. And the airport runway, just provided a couple updates with the contractor. has paved the majority of that A1 taxiway, which connects the new runway with the apron area. It's not done yet, so it's not usable. Last week, they were working on paving out the main taxiway, which parallels the new runway. So this will be the new taxiway. It's called taxiway A. I wasn't here Friday, so I don't know if they were able to finish paving the part that they need to use the paver machine on, but that was their goal. Because they have basically one run left to finish out using the paver. They were going to do that. So making progress. Seems like it's been a while, but little by little they're getting there. Sanitary sewer study. So, Kirk and Michael, we did put together the preliminary alignment for the sewer line to Rolling Hills Electric. We focused on that first, is that they have started construction up there. What we want to do next is work with city staff on how the Rolling Hills Electric and the city sewer main get to their property, because there is no public easements or right of way. Looks like there used to be a street right of way. I believe that's 11th Street, if I remember right. 14th, I think it's 14th. Used to be a public right of way according to the plats that was abandoned. It was a dead end going to the west. So I guess our assumption is that the city would need to look at getting an easement for utilities through there. So we'll talk with city staff about what desirable width would be. We're not working on the water line part, but we're not sure, maybe there's a desire to try to put the water line in the same utility corridor with appropriate spacing, of course. So we'll need to coordinate some things on with that before we move forward with installation, certainly. As of last week, we did finally get a hold of the third common group that was included in the study, so we could work on finalizing that portion as well. A final thing I'm going to report on tonight, and entertain any questions if there are any. I've looked into the US DOT Safe Streets for All, it's actually Safe Streets and Roads for All discretionary grant program through the bipartisan infrastructure legislation, BIL. Between webinars and attending the infrastructure summit that I guess KDOT, you could say, put on last week in week before last in Wichita. The number one thing is the goal of the program is to reduce fatalities on roadways. And KDOT on their webinar last week had researched the fatalities from 2016 to 2020. And the city of Ellsworth had none, which is a good thing, of course. We have fatalities on roads. But as far as meeting the criteria of this funding program, it doesn't say when reduce fatalities, so you can't reduce zero. So what they have really suggested is cities in that position don't necessarily aren't cut out of that program, but they need to try to partner with somebody else, either another community or a county or multiple counties, multiple communities that do have fatality issues, package their projects together and submit them all together in one big package. This year's grants applications are due September 15th. I don't see all that coordination ever happening in 60 days or less, 45 days now. So, you know, if the city wants to pursue that, that's going to take some effort reaching out to other government entities, whether it be in Oklahoma County, outside counties as well. A lot of coordination effort. So my view, at least we're looking at 2023 or later. This is a 5-year program. If it even makes sense, to be honest, I still don't know if it would even really make sense for community Ellsworth. But if there's a way to come up with a opportunity to partner with other entities, KDOT, at least this year, is offering to help fund the planning grant side of things. So to get money for construction, it's kind of like the Safe Routes to School. We did that program about 5 years ago. You have to have a safety plan first, and then you can use that plan to identify projects, and you can apply for project funding. Well, they just said based on a town of 30,000 people, KDOT's estimating the plan, remember this is step one, could cost up to $250,000, because it's apparently looking at the entire community. Very extensive plan. But that's a big chunk of change for a town Ellsworth, certainly. So the planning grant, you can apply for up to 80% federal aid towards that, whatever the cost is going to be. Let's assume it's $250,000. And the KDOT is offered to cover at least a fraction of the local 20%. And that's could be half of that, could be 100% of that, depending on several different criteria. So there's an opportunity to get some additional funding, but again, it's pretty big effort. Honestly, I think it's outside of what Kirkland could do, that sophisticated of a plan. And so if the city wanted to move forward, we probably have to look for somebody to partner with as well to even do it. I'm not sure, I don't honestly know who's done something like that in the community. Wayne would know, Kirkland Michael, we've been a part of local safety plans on the county level. We were sub to two others, actually three other companies that do these on the national level, and those are for the counties. I'm not sure if they've ever done it for a community. Doing some web research, I found, can't remember the name of the town, there was a city, a large metro in New Mexico that had a safety action plan that they had done a few years ago. So it's a pretty big endeavor. And again, I think in the next 45 days, we're not ready to try to tackle something like that, but something to keep researching, and maybe if there's any communities in Kansas that do submit and get selected, we can observe what they do and try to learn from their efforts and go forward from there. So there are a lot of potential funding opportunities in the BIL. Honestly, in the summit where, like I said, KDOT was there, there's a lot of cities and counties that were represented there, and most of what I heard was, we don't know what to do. These applications come due, we don't know how to apply for them. That's coming from the state, county, city level, all the way around, so. It's gonna be interesting, I guess, see how many people, if any, I'm sure there'll be some people apply this first year, but it's probably gonna be the bigger cities that are accustomed to doing these kind of things. Smaller towns just aren't really well equipped for this kind of thing, direct application to federal government. And the other part of it is, if Elworth, let's say, would apply, you have to apply through grants.gov. And you have to get a unique identifier number. They said that can take, if you don't have a record, it'd be 45 to 60 days just to get that number to even be able to apply.
Yeah, that's something we're gonna want to. We're going to get, because it sounds like for any federal grants, you're gonna have that from your going here.
Yeah, it doesn't cost anything to get it.
Yeah, since they've done away with the DUNS number now, it's all gonna be on that number,
Right.
so. Something as a city we're gonna have to do.
Yeah, might as well start the process
Are you a guy in here?
sooner than later. Yeah, that's the part, get the new administrator in. That's something we can coordinate with him as well.
Yeah, and, going to that meeting and watching the webinars, it's definitely geared for bigger communities. They're pushing the connectivity, and North Central Regional is gonna take up our area of trying to help do some organization. They warned vehemently that they don't have the staff to undertake doing any work, but they will help set up Zoom calls and that sort of thing, since they already have the contact information for all communities in our region. So, but yeah, it's gonna come down to who's gonna do the work. I mean, that's what's gonna be the real sticking point, because like I said, there's a few firms out there who are capable of undertaking a big study like that, and they're gonna get swamped because the big cities are gonna start grabbing them up real quick.
And they may not be relocated around here either, so.
So,
Now it's gonna present to us, when I gather, there are water sewer monies available. And when you might have interpreted, or I didn't sit through the whole thing, but it sounded like that was pretty just going through KDT. Through the revolving loan program. It wasn't necessarily a grant, but they had principal forgiveness through the revolving loan. And it sounds like they're still developing the criteria for those programs, so that's not really a known quantity either.
right.
I did hear the one they had Pam set up for discussion. One gentleman, he used to work for the state of Kansas. His concern was with the BIL, there was a strict requirement for Buy American on, especially plastic pipe products. And they're just not readily available. They were fairly limited access before, when we had the big freeze in February of whatever year that was, 2 years ago. One of the largest producers in the United States got heavily damaged in Texas because they usually don't get frost, and they were -20 below zero or whatever. They're not prepared for that, so they are way behind. his concern is that they stick with that Buy American, the cost is gonna be so great because everybody's gonna fight for another pipe. And it's gonna drive the cost up so high, it's gonna be worth applying for the grants, cheaper just to build yourself. With product you get from the foreign nations. So they are lobbying Congress or whoever the right entity is to try to give a waiver on this Buy American provision. Because of that reason, then. That's probably not gonna be a tomorrow thing either, so we'll have to see how that plays out.
Anything else? Any questions for John? Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Takes us into new business, the Eldred Area Council budget request for 2023. So I'll just read the letter. Go ahead. John.
Yeah, hey, can you hear me all right? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Hey, I can't get my camera to work. Otherwise, I wanted to show you where I was at, but I guess I'll just have to tell you. But so, yeah, the budget request there. I mean, the council doesn't need to really take out action on that tonight. To me, that'll be a part of the budget process. You know, last year the city funded them, I believe it was $5,000, and I think that's their request again this year. We budget for those in the general fund. There's other, the chamber, celebration committee, and beautification revitalization. I'm not sure what that is, but that would all be considered, I think, for your approval when you get the budget presentation, you know, later this or in August and early September.
Very good, thank you.
Yep.
Is there any other new business? No, none? Okay, that brings department heads, Chief.
Hello, Mr. Bobby Walkfield. I know we've had no fatalities in the city and we're thankful for that, but I can account for at least 2 in the last 4 years, less than a mile. So I'm 156, so I don't know. Just FYI, I mean, not that we will piggyback, stuff like that. We have had fatalities very close to the city. I'd like to address the Shriners just delegation things that you brought up when you first got up here. So with the animals, I just asked the chief, just call dispatch, there's a loose dog, cat, whatever, and we send an officer out and we can deal with it accordingly. And then with the code enforcement, just fly out of the office and we'll be able to take notes, or whoever's there will take notes for the code enforcement officer, and they can go out. And I'll point them in that direction tomorrow when I see them, if there is issues out there, but it's kind of this thing for me asking citizens help us point out some of the loose animals we can't get everywhere at once, or they see code enforcement stuff. You know, we're having to take that information and then get it out to the people who need it.
And I forgot to say this, but if we have a girl that is riding her little go-kart down the street.
Okay, and it certainly, if that's happening, give us a call and we'll deal with it accordingly. I'm not saying we'll take the little girl to jail or anything crazy, but certainly we'll have to chit chat with her, let her know that's not like acceptable, and kind of give her what her options are. Okay. Yes, ma'am. So for those of you that weren't here prior to the meeting started, Mr. Crystal did ask. The contractor did arrive sometime between 3 and 5, dropped the excavator off at the house on Park Street. I spoke with him on the phone over the lunch hour. He indicated they had a windshield break on their excavator during their last job. It was getting replaced as we spoke, and as soon as they got it done, he would get the excavator here. So I anticipate, based off our conversation and being here, he intends to start tomorrow. I've also been in contact with Kansas Gas Service. The other 2 houses are vacated or disconnected, whatever the word you use, I don't recall. They've been taken care of, so they've got the green light to go both of those properties. The 22 F-150 is back from James Ford, having the roof repainted for some factory issues. So in my opinion, that ties up just about everything we need to close that out with Kansas Highway Patrol. We just still have not received our certificate of origin, which would be like the title base that you get when you buy a brand new vehicle. We haven't got that yet, so we're still floating on that temp tag, thankfully, until the 16th or 17th of next month. Now that the damage, and I didn't see, but the damage has been addressed, I will contact HB tomorrow, let them know we've still not received that certificate of origin and get him on that ball so we can get that coming. I know several 10-day letters have went out for grass. We had, that was one of those bills we had to reinvent again. Because we lost all of our paperwork in the system and with the loss of our server. I know multiple went out. I was gone last week at a conference. I know prior to that, was in discussion. I was told today, just here in the office, that multiple went out. Some of those properties that I was bringing up have been addressed last week by letter. I think that's it.
All right. Keep ahead one.
Yes, sir.
And not all that is for you, but I've been noticing there's lots of things in our street that don't belong there. There's lots of trailers without being hooked up to vehicles parked around. There were 3 of them within a block of my house this weekend. And then roll-off dumpsters and shipping containers are getting dropped in the street, which I'm sure those people are getting permission, but the one's been there a long time.
Which one would that be? The one on Lincoln?
No, the one on, just right around the corner from me. Shane Easy lives on. Blake, yeah,
Okay.
on Blake Street.
There's just a cone.
No,
No, okay.
south of me.
I know generally, like, Mr. Grog had called before and said they were needing to move some property out of the house for an estate sale. The yard wasn't big enough to get the rollback, need to drop off a couple of shipping containers, asked if they could be in the street, said how long, he said 2 weeks tops, about a week, we could have, they were there and moved, and he come them. And I know a couple other ones that have been in town for a while, I just, generally, Flex will call and say, hey, we're doing this, is that acceptable, how long? Please cone it, and they generally try to, not to say the one up there didn't get initial cones, so they didn't walk off the cones, I'm not sure. It's sort of something we can address. I don't know if the ordinance actually covers the roll-offs, because they're not a trailer, you know what I mean? Like in the trailers, yes, and if you hook to a vehicle, it would be a camper, car trailer, or any sort of trailer to that. I want the officers to make sure they're more vigilant if they do see a trailer parked on the street, not attached to them, just go up and make contact, advise and say, hey, and I know sometimes it's a very quick. But sometimes you're right, they do set their course for weekend week, stuff like that, so it's something we just have to be more in tune to, so I can pass that on.
I think the roll-offs and the shipping containers thing, I really think we just need a permit that people can fill out, then there's a time limit, they're gonna off the street.
So I think I think that's a novel idea, I think that's great, and it's when Mr. Barnett was here, we talked about updating some of our city ordinances, as we kind of go through them and stuff like that. I know it's something we discussed in our department head meeting, weekly when we have those. I have a couple things that we have been brought up, I've come across some ordinances that I think would be good, so that's definitely one to add on our list that if we're in there updating some and cleaning some up, that could be a novel idea, even, we're not asking for much, just more or less just, hey, that you're doing it, how long is it gonna be there, who's in charge of it, if something does happen, because just because it's here, doesn't mean select owns it, doesn't mean Broad's own it, so it's good to know who gets the charge.
This we can collect things like a certificate of liability insurance.
Right.
And things like that. I also want to do a permit for work inside of our right of way. We've had 2 water lines cut in the last week because of that. If we would have known the contractor was going to be working there, we may have been able to head off some problems. But that's all I had.
I'll put that on my weekly meeting list as far as one we can, especially we get new administration in here. I don't want to just throw it all in their lap, but certainly as we go through them to address those, that's a great idea.
And thank you.
All right.
Yeah, any other department heads? City attorney.
I don't have anything additional to give you guys. I did do the. No, good for reader. I did do, I contribute nothing. I did do the TIF edition resolution. I sent that to Kevin and he's looking it over and I'm working on some other things that we need to accompany that, including map and a list of landowners within a certain number of feet that will get notification, et cetera, et cetera. So working on getting all those details lined out. Hopefully next meeting we'll have one ready and then you'll set the public, that resolution sets the public hearing date, but it also includes all of the information about exactly what we're doing and what the boundaries, new boundaries will be, et cetera, et cetera. So just getting all that nailed out.
Cool, thank you.
Perfect. Don't have a whole lot. We're trying to put out Facebook posts, but not every single day so that people aren't seeing, hey, we're saying this. So she's working through some, one of the complaints had come that people are unintentionally locking the bathrooms at the splash pad. So in the department meeting, we had talked about maybe some different door systems. Because you push them in to lock while you're in there, but some people are pushing and turning, which we found out on the Ninja Warrior, that's the issue. They didn't then turn them to come out and it locks behind you. And, you know, the only people that have key are like a water staff or an on-call PD. And so we're looking at maybe just changing the doors to be, we have put signs out for everyone, just reminding them to unlock before they get out, but we may just need to do some different doors to make more sense with that. But other than that, working on budget. So we're all trying to figure all that out, so. That's it.
Interim City Administrator?
Just a couple of quick things. Just wanted to kind of highlight again the weekly report. I noted that the ransomware incident were letters. I think you all saw a draft of the letters that should be going out today. Basically everybody, all the individuals that were identified in the files that were provided to us by the forensic team would be getting a notification. We also got a F&Q sheet that we'll have in-house to be able to answer questions if people have any as they call in. Hopefully, if they call you, you can kind of hang tight to that list and be able to answer some of those questions. And there's been no more communication that we're aware of from the threat actors. So that's, I guess, a good thing. We'll keep our fingers crossed as we move through all of that. So budget was mentioned. We're work in progress. Hopefully we'll have a better idea kind of where things stand by the end of this week. I'll be back in Ellsworth on Wednesday and be going over some stuff with Angela and Brittany and hopefully start wrapping some of that up. So that's really all I had. If you have any questions, be glad to address those. And I do see Dustin is with us, and I think you guys probably know that, but good to see him listening in to what he's in for when he shows up in a few weeks. So, and by the way, on that note, we did get all the contracts executed, signed by all the parties, and so it's a done deal. We're in. And Dustin's in, so. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thanks, John. City Council, Ms. Hanson,
No,
Ms. Coates,
No,
Mr. Johnson. Yeah.
Has the city light been altered or like the way that it seems like I am constantly stuck. Like it's like the flow's open to third and not.
Yes, so.
Yeah.
I'll do the best I can with what I know. So one of the push buttons is out of the push to walk. And so my suggestion was we set it to flash. That way it just keeps things moving. According to the light people, yes, but no. So, and they gave some legal reasons for why you shouldn't and this and that. And so, because the way it was set, we timed it, the guy said I was wrong, but Captain Bernard timed it, he was there for 3.5 minutes on Third Street waiting to go. And I had observed citizens pull up to the light, look on Third and then go through it. And I was like, right, wrong, or different. I understand why they did it, and take the time to stop and look. So we did come up with what's there now. It's a little quicker system. You get about 25, I believe, or 30 seconds on Douglas. And then once that hits, it switches over to Third, gives you about 20 seconds on Third, which is right back to Douglas. That's kind of the trade-off to the flashing yellow. So the part has been sent off, the best that I know of, and their hope and praying is that it is here and back installed prior to start.
Okay.
That's
I just thought it seemed like it was not the same.
it's not, no, it's gonna be, yes.
And the part is shipped to Canada, I believe.
Yeah,
Yes, to Canada. So I know that Troy has been working really hard on that with Callie in office to try to coordinate that. So.
Oh, that's the other thing. Yeah, speaking of Canada, Joe and his clarifier never get an update on what they found out when they.
I can speak to that a little bit. Last week, he was scheduled to basically draw down that system to where they could get down in there and kind of see what's going on. The pump truck broke down, so they weren't able to, the vac truck broke down, of course, so they had to put that on hold. And I think I remember him telling me that probably that was going to happen tomorrow, Wednesday, basically, drawing that water out so they can get down in there and see what's going on. And hopefully, it might be a fairly easy fix, but it might not be. So, yeah, so that got delayed. That was supposed to happen last week and got delayed because of the back truck went down. So, and I think we're back up with that. And again, scheduled maybe Tuesday or Wednesday.
Great, thanks, John.
Yep.
Do you have anything else?
No.
Good.
I have nothing.
Got a lot.
I know Mayor Finnegan is online as well. I didn't know.
Oh, Mayor, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, great. First of all, congratulations to Dustin for, accepting the job and getting it. And I was excited today when I got a LinkedIn invitation from him, and I called my wife and said, "You're not going to believe this, but Dustin's already got City of Ellsworth administrator on his profile," and that made me really happy, that you're kind of accepting it and ready to move on and kind of tackle the opportunity. That's a really good sign, and I certainly appreciate that, and I'm sure everybody in that room does too. Along with that, had a chance to go to the Ninja Warrior event. That was cool, and followed that up with the Fire Festivus that night. That was a big hit. And then went to debate the Sunday afterwards. And so that kind of segues into reminding everybody that August 2nd is it's primary day. That's the day to vote. So got a couple, I think one social issue on the agenda. So make your voice heard. Wanted to remind everybody of that. And I think that's about it that I had for today. Certainly appreciate all the effort that went into hiring Dustin, and we're excited to have him. He's even agreed to sing at the Cowtown Festival if he's available. I mean, he may not be, maybe in the middle of moving, but it's Saturday about noon until 2. We have a variety show, and it's just a bunch of different acts will get together. And so that may be your first time to see him. So we certainly appreciate that too. And I think that's it. I think that's all I had.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the meeting. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.
I feel like I should have announced